Brandon.
All right.
Oof.
All right. So I'm basically doing a new recording because the other one I accidentally hit end record. So
yeah.
What are you going to do?
Are you going
to
basically
we're doing genre challenge today for those listening.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm going to recite the results that we got on our dice from the beginning again.
Sounds good.
All right. Let me plug my phone in so it doesn't die while we're recording. All right. So our setting die, we got space opera.
Space opera.
Our genre die, we got romance.
Romance.
And our theme die, which is red and blue colored, we got war.
War.
So it is a space opera romance that takes place during a war.
So saga.
Yes. Pretty much saga.
All right, let's see. Let's think about this so we just don't do another saga, a much lesser version of saga.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, space opera, romance, war. There are two opposing factions. So at this point, it's just rambling till we come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can help spark. There are two opposing factions in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
And the commanders of both factions both really, really don't like the other side, obviously.
Yeah.
And as the war is going on, eventually they come in contact as they're commanding their troops and stuff. And a romance sparks mid-battlefield. They're mid-battle. Everyone's fighting. Everyone's shooting, lopping heads off with I'm trying to come up with a bootleg version. A we'll say laser sword. We can come up with another one later. Everyone's going at it in terms of war.
Plasma machete.
These two.
Plasma machete.
Oh, plasma machete. There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Everyone's going at it in terms of war, but these two, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Dodgeball. I was going to say, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Dodgeball, but in Dodgeball, you have, it's a very funny movie. I rewatched it recently. You have two opposing sides. They're playing dodgeball. Yeah. Both sides hate each other, except this one dumb, nerdy guy and this ugly girl from another country. They're on the opposite sides, but they go to like, they're about to throw their dodgeballs at each other, but they lock eyes and they're like, oh, hey. And like, they just want to like make out and fall in love, basically. Yeah. That's what happens here. Amidst all this death and beheadings and people getting guts flying everywhere, these two, they block out all the noise. It's like in the movies where the person sees the love of their life or this love for the first time, and everything else is blocked out, and it zooms in on that person's face as it's like slow-mo, and you like see their hair flowing and all that.
Yeah.
And there's basically hearts around them and stuff. That's what happens here amidst this gruesome battle.
All right. That's all really cool, and that's great if you're going for like a Hollywood like blockbuster pitch, right?
Yeah.
But here's my thing. All the space operas are always about like the important people, right? Anytime it's a war or anything, it's always about the most important person in the war, right?
Yeah.
Like Star Wars is about Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. And Rebel Moon is about Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and that's just what I've heard. I haven't seen either Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to. I mean, I've gone on record saying that generally I like Zack Snyder's style and everything, but I'm not a huge fan of him as a filmmaker in general.
I don't go out of my way to see his movies.
I like Watchmen, and I still enjoy Batman versus Superman, just with the acknowledgement that it's excuse me, pretty doofy.
Yeah.
And I liked 4 Hour Justice League, but like none of those are like life-changing movies for me.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, like all the space opera stuff is always about like the most important characters. Like the hero is the most important guy on the good guy side, and the villain is the most important guy on the bad guy side. Here's what I'm thinking. So war is just the theme, right?
Right.
So maybe the two main characters are an engaged couple on something of like a backwater planet on, let's say, in whatever the evil empire equivalent is.
Okay.
And you know, they're like weeks away from their wedding. And there's a draft.
Ooh, it's chilly on the planet.
No, Brandon, I mean a military draft.
Gotcha.
Ooh, it's chilly on this battleship. But yeah, there's a draft, so the dude has to go to war, and so like the movie is about like their separation, right? And and like, you know, will he survive? That sort of thing. What do you think? What do you think about that premise?
I think that could work.
This is something you can pitch to an anime studio. This is not Mamoru Hosoda. Who am I thinking of? This is Your Name Guy's next movie. I forgot the director's name. Ironically.
And are they doing like obviously it's high tech or some other thing, but basically writing letters back and forth, but it's not letters, it's some sort of sci-fi type thing.
Holograms.
Yeah.
Recording hologram messages to each other back and forth.
No, I don't want to see them seeing each other. They only have, maybe like they can hear each other.
Yeah.
But seeing each other, no. Like they long to see each other again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. And like maybe she sends him a couple of swimsuit hollows. Everyone's like, here's something to keep you motivated, big boy.
Yeah.
But all right.
Yeah,
so here's
when I think of like hollow videos, if it's like this, I'm not saying it is this, but if it's a couple that's madly in love, and our wedding was just so close, like we were about to have the wedding, or did they have the wedding? I forgot. What was it?
They're like weeks away from the wedding.
Okay, they're engaged. They're just madly in love, and they're whatever their sci-fi cultural system belief is, they believe waiting till marriage, but gosh, they just gotta show each other some stuff. So here's a video of me doing something till you get home. Me personally, I like when there can be some sort of high-tech thing where it is just text, like not saying like a literal like phone text from each other, but like writing or like voice. I don't want them to see each other till the very end, because it makes it much more special, that embrace, as well as maybe she could have some issue as well, but he is like somewhat war torn.
Yeah.
Like you see him in the beginning, like when he's like, farewell, darling, like that sort of stuff.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby.
And then when he gets back, like he's happy to see her, but he has those
the PTSD.
Yes, he has the struggles, the trouble. You can see as he's getting off of their ship or whatever after deployment, like he's happy to see her, but facial wise, compared to the very beginning when he was saying goodbye, you can see he is a changed man.
Yeah. All right. Here's my question. Here's a question for you. Are the two main characters human? And by human, I mean like obviously the actors have to be human, but like, are the two characters like not wearing any monster makeup, or is it two aliens? And how buck wild would we go with the alien designs, assuming that, because you got to have some of those in there.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say they can be aliens. It doesn't have to be humans. The issue is, I've wanted to do giant two Jabba the Hutts, basically. That's what I wanted to do. The studio told us, get the hell out of here if you're doing two giant Jabba the Hutts.
Yeah.
So can't do two giant Jabba the Hutts.
No, they gotta be like Gamora equivalent.
Yeah, it has to be like humanoid.
Yeah.
Somewhat hot.
Yeah. I love how I say Gamora and you say somewhat hot and not just hot.
No, I'm not saying like, yes, Gamora's hot. But I'm saying these people, they can be like a little like, in our human perspective, uglier than Gamora. But that's just because it's whatever alien race they are.
Yeah.
It's nothing against the aliens that we're talking about. Like,
yeah,
if these fictional aliens exist and they're listening to this, it's nothing against you. It's just we humans have a preference. There's as far as a dial that we're able to turn. And part of that dial is like almost to the max. It's not the max, but almost to the max is like Gamora.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
almost
be
as far
you,
as
Brandon.
we can turn.
I think my dial comes with a few more settings than yours does.
No, I definitely know. I know. I'm saying the average person.
I love that. No. I know. We've talked about it too much. But yeah, okay. So yeah, like something like Gamora or Nebula-esque, where it's basically just people with different colored skin paint.
Yeah, and you can add a little more prosthetics on them if you want. You can get a little bit weird with it. You can get two people that, I mean, you can hype it up even more, but like the blue stripper girl in Return of the Jedi,
yeah,
where they have like the little organic pigtail ponytail thingy or whatever. Yeah, it's a part of their head.
The head tails.
Yeah, the head tails.
The Twi'lek head tails.
Yeah, you can do stuff like that as well as add some.
Or you can give them
the face and all that.
So that's not as much of a burden on the actors, assuming this would be a live action thing. You give them a little piccolo antenna.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can do Mantis. You can change the eyes, do the antenna. You can do that. But
and make them sit for 4 hours just to paint their faces green.
If they don't have rocking bodies, if they don't have rocking human-like bodies that are just a different skin color,
yeah,
the studio is going to kill us. Yeah. So we can do whatever to the face, but those bodies have to be like humans love that.
The movie needs to be rated R so that there can be at least one like steamy lovemaking scene.
Yeah.
And we have an excuse to paint a woman's boobs green.
Yes. And I told the makeup artist, I said, "You're not doing it right. Hand me the brush."
Yeah.
All right.
You gotta hold it like this.
No. That's not the right shade of green. Hold on. Good. Let me do this. And then I become head of the makeup department. And then they tell me, well, now that you're head of makeup department, since there's a steamy love scene, you also got to paint the guy's genitalia. I'm like, I quit. I resign. I'm now back to directing the movie. I'm no longer head of makeup department.
We're going as far as peen shots?
No.
I was gonna say we can get away with just upper bodies. That's still
Yeah, yeah.
Boobs can push it to an R rating.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you have like more than 5 seconds of boob, it's pretty much R.
Yeah, and there are going to be 4 F-bombs in the movie.
Yes.
Because we're willing to put strong language in there, but we got to be tasteful about it.
Yeah, yeah. 4 F-bombs, but we'll have like 200 SHs.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's shot in Australia.
Yeah.
Fine. We're using Australian actors.
It's just how they say, "What's up, man?" That's how they say it.
It's the same thing as dude or buddy to them.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so we have the look of them. He gets drafted. He goes off to the big intergalactic war. What is she doing at home? Because we had mentioned they have some sort of non-hologram thing. I don't want them to see each other.
Yeah. I'm thinking like a Rosie the Riveter style We Can Do It type of character.
Okay, yeah.
Like she's got to be proactive and strong, and like also dedicating herself to the war effort in a way that's culturally appropriate for the females of their species.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we'll say, even though they're like an interplanetary empire, they can still be like culturally in the 40s, I think.
Yeah.
That makes for an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. So yeah, she's she's working on the spacecraft and stuff like that.
Yeah. She's programming the computers in the spacecraft.
Yeah, programming the computers, programming the spacecraft. You mentioning that made it a safer way of making me do this joke. She's programming the sex bots for when soldiers get home and they can be relieved. It's through the sex bots, so
that they don't just jump the ladies.
Yeah.
The second they set their feet back down on solid planet.
Yeah, because the original joke, again, if anyone's listening, it was going to be by day she's building the spacecraft, by night she's at the bars relieving the men. Oh. But no.
That's terrible. That completely eliminates like the chaste nature of their relationship up to that point.
She's like, I just with men standing above her and hands moving, she's just like, I support my country. I love my fellow man.
I support the troops.
No. It's a joke, everyone. She is helping with the war efforts.
In other ways.
She's building and shipping off the vibrating butt plugs to those troops that need them.
Oh my god.
No, but she's helping in the war efforts. While she's there, you see the guy. Starts off, everything's somewhat hunky-dory. It's not really hunky. It's war. War's not good.
The war never changes.
Yeah, war never changes. But he's not as pressed down by war yet. Yeah. But as the movie goes along, you see
his two platoon mates, Hunky and Dory, are still alive.
Yeah. 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 And then they eventually die in a big battle that he's in. And he's like, oh no. Things really aren't hunky-dory.
Everything's not hunky-dory. Or he gets like splattered in their blood. He's like, no, everything's hunky-dory.
Yeah, he's rocking back and forth with the blood on him. He's just like, everything's hunky-dory. Everything's hunky-dory. Yeah, so he's experiencing the She's assisting in the war effort. Both of them, as it's going along, are both in their individual sectors. Him in war, her helping assist in the war. Both of them, as it's going along, are seeing that they need to help for their empire to not fall or whatever, as well, so that they can finally come together and you know, like,
and then come
do the
together.
deed and stuff. But as it's going along, they are both not too keen on all of this.
And there needs to be some kind of subplot where the like draft dodging millionaire industrialist who like runs the factory she works in takes a shine to her or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, there's at least one stud back at the ranch.
Yeah.
It's like, uh-oh, is this guy gonna swoop in and take
Business Blonde? It's starting to sound like a Hallmark movie.
But you know, you need that element in there, because it's like, otherwise, because if 100% of the tension is like, oh, is this guy gonna live or die? It's like, well, that's no different than any other war movie.
Yeah.
But if the tension's coming from both sides, where it's like, is he gonna live or die? And if he survives, will she still be waiting for him?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like, that's, you know, that's coming at you from all sides.
Yeah.
Just like when she's supporting the troops.
Yeah. She's serving her country.
Yeah. So now she's got to reject billionaire industrialists' advances.
Yeah.
All while hoping that husband boy returns.
Yeah.
As husband man. Because when he left, he was husband boy.
Yeah.
But he'll return husband man.
Yeah, he left. He was like, golly gee, Patty, like,
Patty!
boy, I can't wait to boy, I can't wait to get back from this here war and us just consummate this marriage and just live happily ever after, have some kids. And then he comes back.
3 kids.
Yeah, he comes back and he's just like, war, Patty, war. I've seen things. He just becomes Frank Castle. I've seen things, and I like it.
1 batch, 2 batch. So yeah. So that's basically like the layout of it. I honestly, it feels like there's a pretty strong outline there.
Yeah.
I almost feel like now we just need a name. We need a name so that we can eventually write a script.
we need 2 things. So one, we need an ending.
Oh yes, yeah.
And we need a name. So eventually he does come back, and like we talked about at the beginning, like you see the shift of who he once was. He was once this happy-go-lucky boy. Now he's happy to see Patty, whatever. She has a alien name.
Oh, I've got something to add on to this.
Okay.
So whatever their empire's like Death Star equivalent was, just got destroyed, and he was supposed to be stationed there, and that like the last audio message he sent her is that he was being sent there next.
Oh.
Telling her where he was going to be. And
so she thinks he's dead.
So she thinks he's dead because the station got destroyed. And like, there's like an incomplete list of survivors, but like it was so chaotic, like they couldn't get a full head count, right? And his name wasn't on the list, even though he survived. It's just one of those like chaotic war things, right?
Yeah.
So she's just left hoping that when he gets back, that when the ship of survivors gets back, he's on it.
Right.
Because right now, her only other option, if he's not on that ship, her only other option is to marry a billionaire industrialist.
Right.
And so
does she have any feelings for billionaire industrialists?
Just for the sake of the drama, maybe she starts developing some.
Okay.
Like just to make it plausible that that's an outcome.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, oh, he's just a friend, he's just like on the outside she's like that, but on the inside she's like, maybe he's more than a friend, but I gotta stay faithful to husband boy.
Yeah, yeah. But if he does,
yeah. But yeah, then like husband boy comes back, he's husband man, and then all right, now keep going with what you were saying.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he gets back. She sees him. She like comes up and embraces him, and they're both happy. But you clearly see like he's just somewhat beaten down, but he is happy to see her.
Yeah,
and he's at the age of 20, he hit puberty, and he's like, "Gosh, Patty!" Like
his hands go straight for her butt when she hugs him.
Like, we need to get married like today. It's been like 6 months. Like, I need to get married today.
Do you understand? I need to be married.
So I'm trying to think, like,
I was gonna say, so then they get married, then
I'm trying to think of how the ending could go. Because yes, you could say like this is the end, and then there's an epilogue.
Yeah.
Because this could be the end, and then there's like a 5-10 minute epilogue, or this is 2/3 into the movie, and then the last 30 minutes is like 30 or 40 minutes is them like trying to live a life that is not entirely what it once was.
Yeah,
before all this.
Yeah, because the same man isn't the one coming home.
Right.
After everything that's happened. He's permanently changed, and like her, like his very long absence, obviously she's had time to change in that period of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're both, by the time they're reunited, they're like both different people.
Yeah.
So dang. Oh dang. Well, then how does it end? Do we go with the depressing route and like either they don't make it as a couple, or the two of them are stuck in an unhappy relationship, or do we try to go for a happy ending where it's like they start working things out by the end?
Well, I was about to say, like, so you have him come home, and this, yeah, it can't be a 2-hour movie, but let's say it's an hour 50. Studio let us have an hour 50 movie.
Why can't it be 2 hours? We can do this. Can be 3 hours.
This cannot be 3 hours. We can do 2. We can do 2. I didn't even talk with the studio. I was just like, no, this cannot be 3 hours.
They won't give us the budget for a 3-hour-long space opera romantic tragedy.
No, they'll give us the budget for 2 hours, because you can get your point across in 2 hours. So we'll
yeah, you can. You definitely can.
2 hours where, yeah, the first hour and 20 minutes or hour and 10 minutes is all the stuff that we said, and then the last 40 to 50 minutes is the aftermath of him coming back home. And the way I see it as like they're trying to do the things that they once did, that they loved each other for, that they enjoyed together, and it's just not the same anymore. But they both do really want this to work out. It's just things have changed so much. And maybe there's like possible separation or something. They haven't gotten married yet.
Yeah.
But I would like to have like that small glimmer of hope at the end where like he shows up at the door and is like, hey, or whatever, and credits, but it seems like they're going to try to work it out, or they meet at a park or whatever, and they try to hold each other's hand to show that they are going to try to work it out. Like, I don't want it to be just completely like, what's Marriage Story. I still haven't seen that movie because it's going to be so depressing. Like,
yeah. No.
I don't want to see that movie. But you can have that to where, like, people love each other a lot, and then a big event or big separation happens in their life to where when they're united again, things just aren't the same anymore. And both are kind of struggling and debating, is that spark still there, sort of thing. And you have some time apart, and then by the end, you don't completely show it. You don't have to spell it out to the audience, but they encounter each other again.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, maybe they're going to try to work it out, sort of thing.
All right. I think we've got a workable outline for a movie there.
Yeah.
Now so we need a
title.
Name. Yeah. Can you believe my fiance got sent off to war weeks before our marriage? That's the title.
Let's see. How about this? Love and War. Oh, okay. We just got flagged. It looks like we're being sued for using that title on all the posters. So we're going to have to change the name there.
War and Love.
Here's the title. And you do spell it exactly how I say it. War. Huh. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Good God, y'all. Space romance in space.
Yeah, it's space romance and then ... in space.
It's like the opening to Space Dandy. This is Space Dandy. He's a dandy guy in space.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess you have to incorporate some sort of like
something
sci-fi
that communicates that it takes place in space somehow.
Yeah.
Moons over Miami.
We don't even know what a Miami is in this movie.
That's the name of the planet.
There's Orlando. I love that planet. But stay away from Milton. That planet is filled with nothing but Smith heads. They do the intergalactic drug crystallized Smith.
They smoke death sticks. Death sticks are cool, Luke. Yeah, have one. Battleship. I don't know. This one sounds a little generic, but like Across the Stars. That's a genuine one, a genuine try.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But again, it sounds kind of generic, and it doesn't really communicate anything about the movie.
Tough. Yeah, it's tough, like incorporating that sci-fi element in the title. Because like
for now, let's just settle on calling it Red Harvest.
Yeah, it'll be Red Harvest.
That's the working title.
Yeah, that's the working title. All right, so Red Harvest. All right, pretty solid.
Yeah, just like my
rated
poop.
R.
Yeah, rated R.
Because when they get back,
because of alien boobs and 4 F-bombs, tasteful F-bombs.
Yeah.
And also like all the graphic war and death that would be on screen.
Yeah.
You got to show someone's like brains getting blown out.
Yeah. He's just there, like looking at it, shell shocked.
Some of it gets in his mouth. Is this Hunky or Dory? It tastes like both of them.
Yeah, and then for some reason the studio 15 or 20 years later lets us write a comic what if of the movie, because for some reason the movie did like amazing in box office. Yeah. It did amazing in box office, so they were like, hey, for the 15th 20th anniversary, do whatever you want regarding this. And we're like, well, it's just kind of a one and done thing. They're like, no, do whatever. And so we wrote a what if comic of what if, what's our lead guy's name? Larry?
Let's call him, or let's come up with an alien name. Let's call him Gerthrud.
Gerthrud. It sounds more like it'd be her name, but yes.
Well, yeah. The thrid suffix is usually feminine, but
I gotcha.
But this is an alien culture. They have
yeah. In this alien culture, Gerthrud is the equivalent of Leslie to them.
Yeah. It's gender neutral.
Yeah. So, yeah, the comic we make 15, 20 years later is what if Gerthrud, what if something awakened within him in the war and he came back wanting to exact the same war on his planet. And we called it what's a synonym for punish?
Chastise.
The chastizer.
Well, chastisement is more verbal, I guess. So,
the discipliner. The penalizer.
There we go, penalizer.
There we go, penalizer. That's our what if comic. You enjoyed the war a little too much. It awakened him.
Yeah, but in order to be the penalizer, his wife and child also have to die, and like at the hands of criminals.
No, not entirely. If you read The Penalizer Born, the prequel series, it shows that that was already awakened in him.
That's only canon to the Penalizer Max, and that's not the real Penalizer.
Well, this is what happens, folks. We were writing this comic, and we were torn between it. So we had two separate timelines running off. I was writing this one. Teo was writing that one.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Girth Penis's Penalizer Max.
Yeah, mine eventually ended because I was running out of a lot of ideas because I realized you can only tell a few stories with the Penalizer. Yeah. And Teo was able to reinvent the Penalizer and do another what if type story where it was cosmic spirit straddler.
That is literally exactly the sequence of words I thought of. I was about to say spirit straddler when it came out of your mouth.
So yeah, he was able to reinvent the character. I just kept doing the same thing over again.
Yeah, when the cosmic spirit straddler, when the Penalizer was infused with both the powers of the spirit straddler and the zirconium skateboarder.
Yes.
By the cosmic sun eater known as Nebulous.
Yes.
In an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Where Thongos went to that alternate timeline.
Yeah, the Penalizer wanted to kill this guy. It's in a future movie. It deals with the what if comics, all that. Wanted to kill this guy called Thongos. when he was a baby.
Yeah.
But the penalizer was like, maybe I can raise him to be better.
Yeah. Good guy Thongos.
Yeah. It turns out the penalizer raising Thongos is worse than Thongos. Who would have figured?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Red Harvest and everything that comes after the next 20 to 40 years of that.
Put it on the board. Right. We've got
Yes.
Paper Thin. We've got The Accidental Crimes of Chad Brown. We've got Red Harvest. And then from Store Brand Comics, we've got The Hogtied Heart.
Yes.
All those are movie scripts we need to write.
Of all those, the one that I would love to see the most is probably Paper Thin. I would also like to see The Accidental Crimes of Chad Brown.
Yeah, those are probably the two I would most want actually made.
Yeah. The Accidental Crimes of Chad Brown, I feel like will be a good, funny time. I feel like Paper Thin would not saying stand the test of time, but your A24 people will look back on it fondly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because The Accidental Crimes of Chad Brown's got very much like a kind of a Hangover, Superbad era comedy vibe to it.
Yeah.
Whereas Paper Thin is, like you said, it's more of that A24 vibe where it's like, oh, this is like a quirky, interesting little indie thing.
Yeah.
And if anybody's wondering what the heck we're even talking about,
go back on the channel.
Go back and listen to other Random Genre Challenge episodes.
Yeah. It's in the title.